Welcome students. The topic we are discussing in this class is concept of unit cell. We know that in a spaced lattice, each lattice point has identical surroundings. Thus, it can be considered that the spaced lattice is built with large number of smallest identical blocks which are known as unit cells. We assume that the entire space lattice is built by using the smallest identical blocks. Those blocks are called as unit cell. A unit cell can be defined as the smallest block of the space lattice whose repetition along the direction of three basis vectors generates the space lattice itself. Now let us understand the concept of unit cell. For the sake of convenience, first let us consider the two-dimensional case. Then we will move on to the three-dimensional case. Now observe here, an atom can be repeated in the three-dimensional space to generate the crystal structure. Now the directions along which an atom can be repeated in the three-dimensional space, generally we represent them using three vectors represented by A bar, B bar, C bar. These vectors are called as basis vectors. Just like we take unit vector I bar, I cap, J cap, K cap in case of three-dimensional coordinate axis. In crystal structure, we take the three directions represented by the vectors similar to unit vectors and they are called as basis vectors. If we go on displacing the atom with the help of the basis vector, then that repeats the crystal structure. For the smallest building block, that is to generate the unit cell, we have to consider the smallest displacement possible for a given crystal structure along x-axis. If we move it by 1 unit, that is along A bar, modulus of A bar, that will generate the second atom. Then if you move to the next, this is equal to 2A bar, then we get the third one, fourth one, and so on. Similarly, along the another particular direction, B bar, the basis vector is B bar, this will generate a unit cell in the two-dimensional space. The square A, B, C, D, it may be square or may not be square, that all depends on the values of A and B. This is called as a two-dimensional unit vector. Similarly, in three-dimensional case, we consider the three basis vectors A bar, B bar and C bar. If they are displaced in their respective directions, that will generate a unit cell. When we make the smallest possible displacement in the particular directions, the structure what we get is called as a unit cell. Now observe here, this represents the cube A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H represents the smallest possible building block that can be obtained for this space lattice and it is called as unit cell. When these unit cell repeated in the three directions, that is in the direction of basis vector A bar, in the direction of basis vector B bar and C bar, that will generate the entire crystal structure. So a unit cell is generally chosen in such a way that it must have minimum volume or the smallest possible structure we can obtain which contains the entire information about the arrangement of the atoms or molecules in the crystal in 3 dimensions. The importance of the unit cell lies in the fact that it is when it is repeated in the 3 directions in the respective basis vectors A bar, B bar, C bar, it generates the complete crystal structure, and hence it is the minimum volume cell which contains the entire information about the arrangement of atoms. So if you want to understand the structure of a crystal, it is not necessary to contain the entire 3-dimensional structure. Just consider the unit cell of that crystal. That unit cell will contain the complete information regarding the crystal structure, that is arrangement of the atoms, spacing between the atoms, the number of atoms present, and all the information can be obtained just by studying the unit cell. This is the importance of unit cell. A unit cell may be of 2 types. We know that the choice of the unit cell is not a fixed way. We can have different possible ways by which we can select the unit cell for a crystal. The choice of unit cell for a space lattice is not unique, but it is a matter of convenience. Depending on the symmetric constraints and other parameters, we choose a unit cell for the space lattice according to our convenience. Ideally, the choice of a conventional unit cell should be in such a way that it must contain minimum number of atoms, that is minimum number of lattice points per unit cell, or minimum volume. There are 2 ways. Either it must have minimum number of lattice points. If this is not possible, then it must have minimum volume. First criteria for the choice of unit cell. The second one, it must represent the symmetry of the crystal lattice. By the definition of unit cell, it is clear that it must be able to generate the crystal when it is moved in different directions, and it must be identical with respect to its surroundings. To have the identical symmetry, identical surroundings, it must have symmetry. So it must be able to represent the symmetry of the crystal. It may be translational symmetry or rotational symmetry or any other symmetry constraints. These are the 2 criteria which are to be considered while choosing the unit cell for any crystal structure. For the sake of convenience, the only shape of the unit cell that is taken into account is a parallelepiped. Now, here we are having a 2-dimensional case. The figure represents the different possible ways of choosing a unit cell in 2-dimensional space. Now observe here, since we are considering a 2-dimensional cell, we need 2 basis vectors, A bar and B bar. A bar is moved in this direction, B bar is moved in this direction. As we go on displacing the basis vectors A bar and B bar in different possible directions, we get unit cells, different possible unit cells. Now in the second figure, we have 4 different ways of choosing the unit cell. Now observe here, the first one, the unit cell represented by A is generated by displacing the basis vector A1 bar in this direction, B1 bar in this direction. This will generate the unit cell. Let us take this as first unit cell, first possible way of representing A, unit cell A. Similarly, this is not the only choice. We can have many other choices. We have represented only 4 choices. We can have infinite such possibilities. Now this one, A2 bar B2 bar. The third possibility is A3 bar, B3 bar. Now observe here, it is displaced by 2 units, B3, A3. Similarly, A4, B4. This represents the fourth possibility of representing the unit cell. Just we are representing here the 4 possibilities. We can have any number of such possibilities. Now with this idea of choosing a unit cell, let us define types of unit cell. First one is a primitive unit cell. If the translational vectors, that is the basis vectors, are chosen such that the unit cell contains the lattice points only at the corners, then the unit cell is called as a primitive unit cell or a simple cell. So a primitive cell is the one which contains the lattice points only at its corners. So it is called as a simple unit cell. A simple unit cell or the primitive unit cell is equivalent of one atom. If we calculate the total number of atoms present in the unit cell, that will be equal to one atom, equivalent of one atom, and such a unit cell is called as a primitive unit cell. If it is not the only possibility, we can have other possibilities also. Accordingly, we have another type of unit cell that is called as non-primitive unit cell. If a unit cell contains additional one or more atoms with an atom at each corner of the unit cell, then such that it is effectively contains more than one atom per unit cell, then such a cell is called as a non-primitive cell or multiple cells. We can have more than one atom per unit cell, that is, we can have additional atoms at the edges or center or on the faces of the unit cell. In such case, it is equivalent to more than one atom per unit cell, and such a cell is called as a non-primitive unit cell or a multiple cell. So we can define a non-primitive unit cell as a unit cell equivalent of more than one atom is called as a non-primitive unit cell. Now come back to the figure. In the figure, we have already learned the 4 different possibilities of choosing a unit cell. Now observe here the figures A represented by unit cell A and D contains the lattice points only at the corners. Hence, A represents a primitive cell. No other atoms are present at any point, either inside or on the edges of the unit cell. Similarly, if we consider the figure D, here also we have lattice atoms placed only at the corners of the unit cell. This also represents primitive unit cell. That is, A and D represents primitive unit cells. Now come to the unit cells B and C. Here we have 4 atoms at the 4 corners of the unit cell. In addition to that, in figure B, we have an additional atom present at the center. So it does not fulfill the definition of primitive cell. Therefore, it is non-primitive unit cell. Similarly, in the unit cell C, we have 4 atoms at the 4 corners and 2 additional atoms located on the 2 edges of the unit cell. Therefore, this is also does not fulfill the definition of primitive unit cell. So this is non-primitive unit cell. So we can conclude that in this diagram, A and D represent the primitive unit cell, while B and C represents non-primitive unit cells. So, overall conclusion is all primitive cells are unit cells, but all unit cells may not be, maybe or may not be primitive cells. If you take any primitive cell, it must represent a unit cell, while all unit cells may not be represent the primitive cells. Some of them may be non-primitive cells also. If we take the cubic structure, a simple cubic structure represents the lattice points or the atoms only at the corners. So this is a primitive cell. A simple cubic unit cell is a primitive cell. Whereas BCC and FCC contains additional lattice points. For example, if we take BCC structure shown in this figure, it has an additional lattice point at the center. So it does not represent a primitive cell, but it is a non-primitive cell. Similarly, if we take FCC, FCC has 6 lattice points or the 6 atoms at its 6 faces. Therefore, it will not fulfill the definition of primitive. So, it is also non-primitive unit cell. In case of cubic lattices, simple cubic crystal is a primitive unit cell, while BCC and FCC are non-primitive unit cells. Now, from the definition of primitive and non-primitive, we learned that a primitive cell is equivalent of 1 atom per unit cell, while non-primitive unit cell is equivalent of more than 1 atom per unit cell. Let us understand this concept by considering the example of a cubic lattice. Let us calculate the number of lattice points per unit cell in case of cubic lattices. We know that we have 3 types of cubic lattices: simple cubic, body-centered cubic, and face-centered cubic. Now let us consider a simple cubic crystal. In this type of unit cell, there are the lattice points present only at the corners as shown in the figure. We have the lattice points present only at the 8 corners of the unit cell. Now observe here, each atom or the lattice point is shared by, when we repeat in the 3-dimensional case, then each lattice point is shared by 8 such unit cells. So the contribution of each lattice point to this given unit cell is only 1/8. Any lattice point at the corners of a unit cell will contribute only 1/8 of its share, as shown in the diagram. Now observe here, if we complete the atom, then only 1/8 of this atom belongs to this particular unit cell, while the remaining 7/8 portion is distributed among the remaining 7 unit cells in its surroundings. So, since the atoms or the lattice points are located only at the corners, the number of lattice points per unit cell is equal to the contribution of each lattice point at the corner is 1/8 into we have total 8 lattice points or total 8 atoms at the 8 corners. So it is equivalent to 1 lattice point per unit cell or 1 atom. A simple cubic crystal is equivalent to 1 lattice point per unit cell or 1 atom per unit cell. Hence, it is a primitive unit cell. Next, take the case of body-centered cubic crystal. We know that body-centered cubic crystal has 8 atoms are the lattice points at the 8 corners of the cube. In addition to that, we have one lattice point or the atom present at its center. Now let us calculate the equivalent number of atoms per unit cell. Now observe the diagram, second one. Already we learned that the lattice points or the atoms located at the corners will contribute only 1/8 of their share to any given unit cell, while the atom which is located at the center will completely belongs to that particular unit cell only. The atom at the center belongs to the given unit cell only. Therefore, the total contribution by all the lattice atoms are 8 atoms at the 8 corners. Each contribute only 1/8 of its share. So that will be equal to 1 plus 1 atom at the center. It is completely belongs to the given unit cell only. So the number of lattice points per unit cell is equal to 2 in case of body centered cubic crystal. The third one is face centered cubic crystal. In face centered cubic crystal, we have 8 atoms at the 8 corners. In addition to that, 6 atoms at its 6 faces. Now let us understand the number of atoms that present per unit cell in case of FCC. Now total 8 atoms at the 8 corners, 6 atoms at the 6 faces. The contribution of the corner lattice points is 1/8 of its value. So only 1/8 of the lattice point belongs to any particular unit cell. Totally we have 8 such unit cells. 1/8 into 8. Plus we have 6 lattice points are the 6 atoms located at the 6 faces of the FCC crystal. But observe the diagram, only half of this atom belongs to the given unit cell, while the remaining half is shared by the neighboring unit cell. So only half of the unit cell atom belongs to this given unit cell. So totally we have 6 atoms at the 6 faces, but the contribution of each atom for this given unit cell is only half of its share. So this will become 1 plus 3. So the number of lattice points per unit cell is 4 in case of FCC crystal. This is about the basic concepts of crystal structure.